Well, Hallie, thank you so much for having me here and for all of you for organizing this. We all must do everything we can to get Vice President Kamala Harris to become our next president, which even saying those words, how exciting is that? How thrilling? How much does it make us feel like the possibilities that we couldn't imagine existing do exist? So I want to say a couple of words about first where we are in the Jewish year. We are in the middle of this very deep period of mourning, these 3 weeks of mourning that we consider in the depths of summer leading up to Rosh Chodesh Av coming week, and then Tisha B'Av itself. The reason that I say that is because our Jewish calendar helps us deal with the roller coaster of what life is like. And we're in the period of time in which we go deep into the pits of despair, but not only to stay in those pits of despair, but to emerge from them, because we believe on Tisha B'Av, the birth pangs, the beginnings, the possibilities of the messianic time, the Mashiach, will emerge from that level of despair. So the first thing I have to say is watching this vice president emerging into a soon-to-be formal nominee for president, when we think it will be very soon in these next few days of the voting of the delegates, we are seeing the possibilities of hope in a time in which so many people have been full of tremendous despair. And as the rabbi of this LGBT synagogue, and now Emerita, as you correctly said, I'm now retired from it, I've been deeply engaged in issues around Judaism and the LGBT community, and I'm very moved by the role that the vice president played throughout her history in promoting and supporting the rights of LGBT people. She's been on the forefront of that, and she's been a very important voice in the legal system in California and making that a reality. I also want to point out that she's done something which is very complicated and shouldn't be so difficult to do, but in our current polarized climate seems to be almost impossible, but I think she's providing some important leadership on that. She is both supporting the right of the state of Israel to exist, to defend itself, and she is expressing profound compassion for the Palestinians, both inside of Gaza, in the West Bank, Israelis who and also are Israeli citizens. And I think for me and for most of my people, that vision of having a possibility of rejecting the binary, that in order to be supportive of the state of Israel, we have to not be supportive or aware of or embrace the compassion for or support the full liberation and justice for Palestinian people. I believe we see in this vice president, soon hopefully to be president, the example where it's possible to hold these things at the same time. I want to also just say one other word. I love that she has a sense of humor. We need somebody who can actually be able to laugh and bring us joy, even in the midst of terrible fear and anxiety. And we have to always remember, joy itself is an act of spiritual and political resistance. And I think Vice President Kamala Harris profoundly and beautifully exemplifies that and shows us the way. You know, in 1932 and 1933 in Germany, and there's a lot of discussion about the rise of the National Socialist Party, the Nazi Party, and Hitler. It was possible because all of the other parties, had they joined together, they had the numbers to prevent the Nazi Party from winning in the election in early 1933. But those parties could not agree. The parties who were on the outside, so to speak, of the Nazi system were fighting among themselves, and each imagined they would somehow succeed if the Nazis succeeded and they would be able to control them. We know that's not possible. We must do everything we can to understand the existential threat, this moment that we're in, and where the United States lands will have an impact on every country in the world, on all of the profound issues that we as Jews, I believe, care so deeply about as human beings. And I'm so proud to throw my total support behind and will do everything I can. And I urge everybody on this call to commit ourselves to going out there and doing everything we can to make sure that Kamala Harris becomes our next president of the United States.